Hi everyone, this lesson is about how your property will be split in a divorce in Texas. Texas is a community property state that does not recognize legal separation. This means that any assets accumulated from the beginning of the marriage up until the trial date is considered marital property. So assuming that there is no prenuptial agreement, marital property is divided 50-50. However, the judge has some discretion when dividing community property and can give a disproportionate share to the parties. The judge will consider the following. Number 1, can the spouse support himself or herself? Number 2, did a spouse commit a wrongdoing? Number 3, how much did the spouse spend while the divorce was pending? And number 4, other considerations. Let's dive a little bit deeper into these 4 considerations. Number 1, can the spouse support himself or herself? The judge can consider which spouse has custody of the children, how much each spouse earns, the value of each spouse's separate property, the health of the spouses, the age of the spouses, and how much income will be produced from an income-producing property. Number 2, did a spouse commit a wrongdoing? Number 2, did a spouse commit a wrongdoing? The judge can consider who is at fault in the breakup of the marriage, if a spouse committed fraud in transactions involving the community property, and if the spouse committed a tortious act towards the other spouse, such as physical violence, assault, and emotional distress. If fault of the marriage is proven, the judge cannot technically give a disproportionate share of the community property. However, the judge can consider any benefits the spouse, who is not at fault, would have received if the marriage had continued. For instance, a Texas judge considered the medical benefits a spouse would have received had the marriage continued. A value was placed on the medical benefits, and the community property was divided in a manner that accounted for the medical benefits. Number 3, how much did the spouse spend while the divorce was pending? The judge can consider if court-ordered temporary spousal support was paid or not, the expenses to maintain the community property, any attorney's fees and court costs, and any tax consequences if the property is divided. And number 4, other considerations. The judge can consider the length the parties have been married and the nature of the community property. This means the judge can consider whether one spouse will be better able to manage a certain piece of property, whether the property requires the person owning that property to be licensed, like a medical practice, whether one spouse can make better use of the property, whether the property is more associated with one spouse, whether the property was acquired primarily by one spouse, and the value of the property. Thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Also, if you live in Texas and would like a free kit to do your own divorce, please check the description box below to sign up.